What's up, everybody? Daniel back here for another video. So this video will be about essentially willpower and how to harness it when you are going through your healing journey. If you don't know me, my name is Daniel, and I help people with their nutrition with things I've learned over the past 8 years, reversing my psoriasis in order to help them hack their nutrition, reverse any skin issues, and just be their best overall self, living drug free. So for this video, this video will only apply for those going through the journey. If you're looking, on this someone upon the video, and you're looking for willpower to like succeed in other areas like finances or maybe relationships, stuff like that, then this is not the video for you. This is for someone that has found that their source of their problem is the way they eat. They have leaky gut or some kind of form of digestive system issues that has led them to basically get some sort of illness or disease. So essentially, for this, I want to go into my experience with it. So when I basically got diagnosed with psoriasis when I was about 21, it was about basically because of a whole bunch of stressors. I had a very toxic relationship that I wasn't ready for at the time. I was just graduating from school. I also had a basically situation with my parents that were about to split up, and I was going to move as well. So I had like 4 or 5 different things going on. And then also when you graduate, you don't know what you're going to do. Most people don't know what they're doing, so they have that basically uncertainty in your life as well. So this caused stress, and obviously the thing with stress is it reacts differently to different people. So stress is obviously the cause of most diseases, and each person, a specific part of their body will respond more to stress. So for me, it was my digestive system, and this caused me to, begin to get patches on my skin. I had already been born with eczema, so it came from my family. I had like family history of eczema, and then it just turned into psoriasis. And obviously, eczema as well is from the digestive system. So you can say from the get go, I was already pretty susceptible to getting it. But essentially, at that point, I was eating basically everything. I remember I was working at a rotisserie store, a rotisserie. Sorry, it's a supermarket, so they had a rotisserie section where they have like a hot table. You're able to get like rotisserie chicken and stuff like that. So working there, I was making like minimum wage because essentially I was working to pay for school and things like that. Um, will pay my way through basically like bills that I was getting at school, like if I was eating at school and everything like that. So this job was helping me do that, and also take out my girlfriend at the time when I could. So essentially, when I would finish work or have lunch, I would just eat from the hot table, and it was basically a lot of shit that I was eating. Things like samosas, lasagna. It was an Italian supermarket, so you can imagine it's a lot of carbs, and basically, yeah, some rotisserie as well. There was a lot of preservatives in the rotisserie chicken, so a lot of potato wedges, just like American slash Italian food, and definitely not healthy at all. And yeah, so it was fine in the beginning, but obviously as more and more stress happened, I wasn't really doing the right things to mitigate the stress, and as well, I wasn't going to the gym. The gym is the number one thing I recommend if you are going through this. Is gym helps with just relieving stress, um, and also it's also good autophagy practice. Helps to like rejuvenate cells and stuff like that more the most. So you have to be basically in the gym just as a stress relief, and also helps to incur movement, which is important for healing and recovery, on top of eliminating foods and cleansing. So basically, I wasn't going to the gym. I was just super stressed out, super skinny kid as well, and basically just like very, you know, you could say I was basically just being thrown all over the place in terms of emotionally, mentally as well. I wasn't the strongest mentally at that point, and then had this girlfriend at the time that I was basically just being thrown around with, and school and everything like that. So yeah, stress started piling up, and I wouldn't have any ways to mitigate it. So I began to go through my routine, and essentially started to see patches on my skin as well. In the rotisserie section, I was in charge of like putting chicken in the oven, so I would get like basically like a lot of heat on the skin as well, which would make things worse. And essentially at that point, I realized that after a while it was getting larger and larger. Basically my whole arm was being full of like patches, and At that point, I had no idea, obviously, that it could relate to my diet or what I was eating. I just thought, oh, this is like some kind of. I knew it was related to stress because I was super stressed at the point, but maybe I just thought it was like, some rash that'll go away. But then eventually I went to a dermatologist and they told me it was psoriasis, and thus began my journey. So what I did, thankfully, was I didn't listen to the dermatologist in terms of taking the medication. They just give you a bunch of medication to take. And I was like, in my head, I was like, no, fuck this. I'm not going to do this. Thankfully, my mom was very into or believed a lot in natural remedies. And this helped a lot to, like, get me out of the whole race of just, getting more and more medication. Your body becomes immune to it as well. I knew that as well, and that your body gets immunity to different medications. So essentially, I just went down the road of naturally healing my skin. So this is where I began to. I did a complete 180 about a book called The Autoimmune Solution. I believe I talked about this in another video, and that book basically changed my life in terms of the direction I was going with things. So imagine a kid that's 21, enjoying life, well, not enjoying life in my perspective, because I was basically just going through a lot of stress, but being able to eat whatever he wants, never had to care about that, to all of a sudden having to eliminate most of the things he liked to eat, especially like lasagna. I was a big lasagna fan, tiramisu, um, pizza. I was basically eating everything. I remember eating like a lot of McDonald's, stuff like that. To now, being reduced to lettuce wraps, um, squash, and um, just salads and stuff like that. So imagine me going from what I was eating to that. So I made the biggest jump. I basically cold turkeyed it, and I was basically super convinced about the book, and she basically explained the way she explained it was like made complete sense. I'm like, this makes sense. I'm gonna do this, and basically, getting to the point of the video is I made it do or die. That's the way to maintain willpower. So the willpower to keep eating the foods you have to, as opposed to going back to the way you were eating. I made it, this is the only way to do it. Like I said, I basically burned the bridge in terms of the dermatologist. I basically took the things and I just said, okay, yeah, thanks. And I never went back. I basically threw it out, I think, when I went outside after the appointment. And, I just made a commitment. You have to make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do this. That's the only way to, fight willpower. If you're like on the fence, you're like, kind of do this. Like, I try it out. You're fucked. You have to do, I'm going to do this or I take medication. It's basically binary. I'm, either in my head, it was like, I used like worst case scenario always. So in my head, I was just like basically just someone that's going to be doing injections, like cream, stuff like that. And I just saw that like version of me, basically a different reality. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. So I was more scared of that than, having to go through. And it was a point of suffering. Of course, you see the way people are eating around you. Everyone's like enjoying the meals you were once enjoying a few weeks back, and you're like, this kind of fucking sucks. But thankfully, I pushed through, and I think that's the only real trick. I'm not sure there's any other tricks. Obviously, staying away from certain events if you can. Like, don't keep putting yourself in a situation where you're like seeing the food you want to eat, and you're like just there. It's almost like someone that's trying to quit alcohol and they keep going to like clubs and parties and just alcohol. Like, don't put yourself in the situations when you can. But if you have to, just, maybe excuse yourself, go somewhere else and kind of do your thing. And just don't expose yourself, because your willpower is very limited. And especially if you don't have conviction like I did, then, you have to have conviction. That's the number one rule. Have conviction that you're going to do it, this way. Don't let people stray you. That's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh yeah, I'll try it, and then they do it for a few weeks. And like, okay, my food doesn't taste as good. I'm just gonna go back. Don't be a fucking pussy. All right, just go with the natural route. The natural route is the way to do things, and this is long term. It's a slower progress, of course. It's not as fast as taking injections and creams, and you just see the side effects go away. Oh, it's cured. No, it's not cured. It's just you're basically bandaging all the effects of it, and you're still going to keep eating the same shit, and it's going to just keep coming up more and more, and your body's going to get more and more immune. You pay more and more money for drugs and medication, and is that the life you want? Just more and more money out of your pocket that you can be putting into yourself, into your life, into personal growth, whatever you want to do. That's money going down the drain for no reason, because you don't have self-discipline and enough conviction. So build some fucking conviction for once in your life. This is actually something that's going to help you, and this is something that is happening for you, not to you. This is the number one thing you have to realize. This is a blessing in disguise. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, oh, this sucks, I can't believe this is the rest of my life, just accept it. This is, God giving you a blessing. This is a gift. You're gonna look back, you know, if you apply what happens in this video and the rest of the videos that I make, then this is the biggest blessing that God is going to give you. So really appreciate it. Just trust the process and just indulge yourself in your future. This is now your future reality of using food as your medication, or you can just go be lazy and just be another sheep in the system and just follow you know what everyone else is doing, is taking medications and creams and just going to be teeter tottering and always going to be just having to get a new cream and a new injection, and basically they're going to keep upselling you until you're taking injections that cost $1,000 a month, 1,500 minimum a month, and then it's going to get more and more expensive. And like, I'm just basically telling you your future right now. So either you become a man, or if you're a woman, become a woman and make the decision to do this, or you live the life of a sheep that is just being ruled by the pharmaceutical system with the new psoriasis product that comes out. Oh, this one might help me. Let me go try this one. Spend some more thousands of dollars. Realize your body comes immune after a while. You go, oh, let me try this one. So stop. This is who you want to be. This is not who you want to be. Trust me. So do it this way, and this is the way to do it. Build conviction. Tell yourself this is do or die. Either I do this for myself, if it's not for yourself, do it for your family. Because if you're a young kid, for instance, or young person, your family's been paying for most of this anyways. Do you want to put that stress on your family of having to pay now more medical bills, especially depending on where you live? If it's not insured, they're paying more out of their pocket for you because you don't have the conviction or the ability to make a choice and say, hey, I'm going to try this route. This is the proper route. This is the way I can actually reverse and even permanently heal if you do enough of the practices that are basically required of you. So understand it's do or die. There's no secret willpower thing. If you're looking for that, unfortunately, there is no secret willpower hack I'm going to give you that's like, oh, do this every day and you'll have ultimate willpower. Willpower is limited for everybody, including myself, unfortunately. So it's about building conviction. The conviction will lead the charge, and then getting yourself out of environments that trigger you to maybe want to start eating stuff like that. And sometimes it's okay. You'll maybe slip up, but realize that the conviction will have to be built. It's like a muscle. For me, it wasn't a muscle. For some reason, I just had I didn't want to try it. And as well, when you start eating clean and you, let's say, have a cheat meal or a time where you slip up, you're gonna feel the effects. Like for me, for instance, I get really, really itchy, especially when I have gluten or dairy. Like my stomach just goes crazy. Dairy as well. It's not as bad with the stomach, but I just get like this weird itch around. So it's like you just feel the effects instantly. So it's not worth it. If you want to, don't believe me, give it a try. Try it out. But you'll come back to the video and be like, okay, this guy was right. So I'm telling you from experience. I'm not telling you because I want to act like I know something that I don't. So this is what you'll have to do. Accept your new reality. Like I said, it's a blessing from God. If you don't believe in God, in the universe, if you don't believe in either or, then I don't know. From whatever you have made yourself, this is like the story for yourself. But anyways, hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, like I said, I help people with this. You can find me on Instagram, the same my YouTube at Mr. Daniel Arce. We can speak more there. Send me a message. I'll gladly help you out. Other than that, I wish you all the best. Build conviction. That's the number one thing you need. And make it binary, yes or no. Do it for your family if it's not for yourself. If you have love for anything, do it for your family. Anyways, all the best. Comment below what you do for willpower. If it's not conviction, what you have as your procedure or your process. We'd love to hear it. Other than that, all the best and keep killing it.